Renowned actress Catherine Oxenberg bravely addresses the camera, revealing a harrowing ordeal that shook her family to its core. She recounts the unsuspecting facade of a seemingly ordinary neighborhood concealing a sinister truth. In Albany, her daughter found herself ensnared in a deceptive cult masquerading as a self-help organization, enduring the anguish of a branding ritual. Flashback to a tranquil scene in Malibu 2 years prior. Catherine receives an update on her script from her agent, while downstairs her eldest daughter, India, tends to her baking, offering cranberry crumblers to her boyfriend, Lucas. Amidst discussions of website renewal and sales struggles, Catherine's entry into the kitchen prompts inquiries about the script's progress. Disheartening news arrives. No interest in her work. India empathizes with her mother's disappointment. The familial scene shifts as Catherine's other daughters, Remy and Francesca, join in, connecting with their grandmother, Princess Elizabeth, via video call, eagerly anticipating an upcoming trip. The girls, accompanied by their father, Casper, Catherine's second husband, later venture out, continuing their familial journey amidst the trials and triumphs they face together. Observing India's somber demeanor that evening, Catherine gently reminded her of the inherent challenges in starting a business. Seeking guidance on navigating her sense of aimlessness, the frustrated entrepreneur turned to her mother, who advised her not to rush into finding solutions. Following her yoga session the next day, Catherine confided in her friend Julian about her marital and career woes. Moved by her plight, Julian extended an invitation to the Executive Success Program, hosted by NXIVM for the upcoming weekend, hoping to assist her. Intrigued, Catherine committed to attending the seminar. Recognizing the potential benefits for her daughter, Catherine invited India to join her, despite initial hesitations. During the seminar, facilitator Mark elaborated on the origins of the program by Keith Raniere, while Bonnie emphasized its tools for fostering success and rectifying unproductive mindsets. Mark outlined the structure of the first-level workshop, consisting of 5 classes priced at $2,400 per person. Upon learning of the high cost, Julian promptly apologized to Catherine and India for his oversight. Despite this, India remained optimistic and contemplated enrolling alongside her mother. Catherine and India encountered Coach Sarah on their first day, who briefed them on co-founder Nancy Salzman, referred to as Prefect during classes. When India inquired about the significance of colored sashes, the coach explained the group's ranking system known as the Stripe Path. Following Nancy's introduction on behalf of the founder, Keith Raniere, known as Vanguard, she directed all participants to complete their 12-point mission statement questionnaires. Catherine found the questions unrelated to business success, whereas India perceived them as prompts. Abruptly, Sarah informed Catherine of her daughter's separation to ensure an authentic experience. Upon returning home, Catherine shared her dissatisfaction with the workshop with her daughter, expressing disdain for Nancy. Conversely, India didn't mind being placed in different groups. The NXIVM indoctrination began. After an intro by Nancy referencing the mysterious leader, Vanguard, everyone filled out a strange questionnaire. Catherine thought it wasn't about business success, while India saw it as self-reflection. Catherine was confused, and India left for another group. Next, they had to promise to convince others to join. Catherine objected. They weren't salespeople. Nancy reminded them of a signed document, an NDA, that shut Catherine down. Holding India's hand, the coach disclosed Keith as her mentor, embracing her and expressing excitement for her upcoming journey. In the gymnasium, Bonnie introduced Catherine to Jennifer, observing Keith Raniere and other men bonding over volleyball. Catherine found it peculiar when the group rose to celebrate the founder's victory. Keith greeted Allison and Nancy's daughter Lauren with a kiss before being introduced to India. Expressing his admiration for Catherine, he waved at her. The next day, Allison delved into the Jane S module, highlighting Keith's perspective on male-female relationships. Nancy elaborated, asserting that men perceive intimacy differently from women. Catherine questioned the group's concept of loyalty, prompting Keith to intervene, urging respect while allowing room for inquiry. Encountering Jennifer sleeping on the floor that night, Catherine learned she was doing penance for defiance towards her husband, which troubled her deeply. The following day, Allison invited India to engage with her followers in a live stream. Afterwards, she disclosed her participation in a diet aimed at enhancing mental clarity and energy. The coach emphasized the need for even skinnier physique. India, curious, inquired if Keith had specifically mentioned such preferences, to which Allison clarified his role as her mentor. During a jog later that day, Allison discussed India's potential advancement to shadow coach status, contingent upon her focus on recruiting new members to expand the network. Meanwhile, Elizabeth visited Catherine, whose divorce had been finalized. Later, they conversed by the pool, where the elder woman conveyed her excitement for India's forthcoming birthday celebration. Catherine confided in her mother about India's growing attachment to NXIVM. At India's birthday party the following day, Catherine's first husband, Bill, was in attendance. After blowing out the candles, India expressed gratitude to her guests, including her mother and grandmother. That evening, Lucas and Victoria confronted India about her changed demeanor since joining NXIVM. Later, Catherine confessed her discomfort with the earlier recruitment to her daughter. India disclosed her enrollment in NXIVM University, which carried a hefty annual fee of $50,000. Catherine was taken aback by the cost, but India reassured her that she intended to utilize her inheritance to cover the expenses. After India departed, the actress felt uneasy, but Bill advised her to allow their daughter to make her own decisions as an adult. During Keith's birthday week, the women congregated at the camp. Later, the founder privately conversed with India, extending an offer to be her mentor. Upon her acceptance, he encouraged her not to let her femininity constrain her potential, offering reassurance that she would discover her higher purpose soon. However, his subsequent kiss startled her. Bonnie, witnessing the exchange from a distance, appeared upset as she disposed of trash. Back at home, Remy and Francesca watched a video of Keith on YouTube, suspecting their sister's involvement in a cult. Meanwhile, Catherine received insight from Elizabeth regarding her daughter's employment at a new cafe and coursework, prompting her concerns about the group's activities. Simultaneously, Allison recruited India to a clandestine sorority within NXIVM called DOS, implying a lifelong sisterhood or a vow of dedication. India agreed to join. That evening, a worried Bonnie sought to express her concerns to Mark regarding India. However, he declined, citing his ongoing studies. Undeterred, she drove alone to another location where the sorority ritual unfolded. Inside, Allison prepared India for initiation. Subsequently, India underwent branding, eliciting screams of agony as her sisters held her down. Filled with terror, Bonnie urgently contacted Catherine, arranging to meet her the following day at a cafe. There, Catherine learned the distressing truth. Her daughter had been coerced into joining a clandestine slave master group called Dios. Desperate for a solution, Catherine inquired about rescuing her daughter. Bonnie recommended enlisting the services of a cult deprogrammer. The next day, Catherine consulted with Melanie, who advised against criticizing the group directly, warning that it would only provoke defensiveness in her daughter. Following this revelation, Catherine confided in Bill, who discovered that India's account had already been linked to the cult. Subsequently, the actress and her mother joined forces to delve into Keith's background. Discoveries revealed not only the founder's high IQ, but also his involvement. Despite Catherine's attempts to involve the FBI, Agent Latham advised that concrete evidence was necessary before initiating an investigation. Acting on this advice, she reached out to Frank Perlato, NXIVM's former publicist, a tactic frequently employed by Keith's camp to silence defectors. Frank further disclosed Keith's involvement with multiple partners and attempts to expose the cult, only to be ignored by authorities. He referred Catherine to a cult specialist for further assistance. That evening at the townhouse, Upon investigation, she encountered Keith's glasses on a table, prompting silent shock. The following day, Catherine conversed with Rick, who revealed the cult's prolonged efforts to silence him through lawsuits. Overwhelmed with guilt, Catherine blamed herself for involving her daughter in the cult. Subsequently, Catherine attempted to reach her daughter, but with no response, she turned to the New York Times for assistance. India's world at NXIVM got disturbing. One night, she saw Allison dancing with the leader, Keith. When he touched her face, India ran to the bathroom. Uncomfortable, Keith then pressured Allison to get India to take off her clothes for a special request, posing for him. The situation left India shaken. The next day, Catherine stumbled upon shocking news. A former NXIVM coach, Sarah, exposed the group's branding ritual. Back at NXIVM, Keith remained calm, but Nancy panicked and considered using incriminating evidence against Sarah. Meanwhile, Allison assured everyone India was loyal. Catherine met Sarah, who revealed Lauren tricked her into joining and showed the scar from the branding. Keith's initials, not a symbol. Catherine was horrified. Good news finally arrived. Latham confirmed they'd investigate NXIVM. Catherine, determined to get India back, hatched a plan. She teamed up with Melanie's mom to convince India to return to Malibu for a birthday party. Picking India up, Catherine saw her texting Allison, who called India a slave and pushed her to recruit more members. India, manipulated by the cult, saw it as a positive experience. When Catherine pointed this out, India became upset. Upon hearing this, India hastened into the house. Over the ensuing days, Catherine tirelessly endeavored to rescue her daughter from indoctrination, making appearances on radio and television interviews. In Albany, India watched her mother on TV, only for Allison to swiftly switch it off. Pressured by the coach to post on Facebook and subjected to filming, India grew distressed. Meanwhile, Nancy presented Keith with a magazine article featuring Catherine. However, the founder appeared unperturbed, confidently asserting India's allegiance to the group. Simultaneously, Catherine maintained her collaboration with the FBI. Recognizing the escalating situation, Nancy assigned her daughter Lorraine, providing her with the necessary funds for the trip. That evening, India observed Allison packing and grew anxious, fearing abandonment. Subsequently, Allison, Lauren, and Keith arrived in Puerto Vallarta via a private jet. Meanwhile, authorities apprehended Nancy as she attempted to destroy evidence. Back at the cafe, India received a text from Allison inviting her to join them in Mexico, but she ignored it, focusing instead on serving the customers. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more recaps. Your support means the world to me. Feel free to drop any comments or suggestions below. Until next time, take care and stay awesome.